morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us. I know it's been a very hard morning, rains and a lot of traffic, but I really extend a warm welcome to the future HR thinkers who are wanting to bring in a lot of change in your HR processes with efficiency and innovation. And that is the focus of today's session as well. But trust me, for all the pain that you've taken to travel here, today's sessions and workshops are going to really keep you hooked. I can promise you that. And of course, we all know GenAI is the most impactful word, isn't it? We've all been hearing it for about 4-5 years now, and everybody is looking into sessions and wanting to understand what GenAI is. And today, in this room, we have a very powerful combination of Oracle HCM and GenAI. So, revolutionizing HR with GenAI, what does Oracle HCM Cloud has to offer? It's trying to give a platform for the HR professionals to ensure there is a lot of automation and data-driven decisions that will really help the HR save a lot of time. And while doing so, it's trying to give a very engaging and a personalized experience for employees throughout their journey on the HCM Cloud and as part of the organization. So thank you, team Oracle, Srihari, NJ, we have DN, we have Mukesh, we have Neha, and we have a host of all of you who have traveled here. Thanks a lot for being here. So the agenda of today's discussion is about me. My name is Prasanna Krishnan. I'm the Chief Operating Officer at Cobion. I have close to 21 years of experience only in the Oracle space. So I started my career with PeopleSoft and then now into Oracle Cloud and today this role at Cobion. About Cobion, we are a HR transformation and a digital transformation organization. We have been into this Oracle space for 15 plus years, and while being in this timeline, we have actually affected 60 plus organizations on their digital transformation. We have worked with 60 plus customers. We have worked with them right from their initial journey until where they are today. Of course, we have our customers today who will talk about their journey in the Oracle Cloud and their futuristic journey as well. So the agenda of today's discussion is we are going to have keynote session and understanding GenAI session from the Oracle stalwarts, Srihari and NJ. Customer insights from 3 of my top-notch customers who are going to be here. They're going to speak about their journey. And hands-on session on Generative AI and Oracle HCM Cloud by Shiv Shankari and Ankit. And finally, the Q&A session from all of you. Feel free to stop us while the discussions are going on. That will become more an interactive session rather than it being more like a monologue. So you can feel free to stop us, try to understand and try to get more clarity. So here we have Mr. Srihari Pendona, who is the Group Vice President Human Resources at Oracle India. And in his role, he heads the HR function for all Oracle entities in India. He works in the areas of strategic business HR partnership, driving HR priorities in the country for business and employee success, overseeing HR operations and country-specific statutory and regulatory compliances concerning employment. Along with Srihari, we have NJ. NJ Niranjan Joseph is the Vice President Human Resources at Oracle India, and in his current role, he is the HR leader for the Global Services Organization, the IT Consulting Global Finance and the NetSuite Global Business Unit. He, of course, comes with a proven track record of aligning people strategy to achieve business outcomes. So, optimizing processes and systems through HR innovation is his key role. So, we call upon them to actually give us the way Oracle has traveled and where we are with Oracle HCM Cloud and GenAI. I welcome you both of you, please.
Thank you. That was my photo without my class. So this is the latest acquisition. I don't know, you're all HR folks?
Yes.
So it doesn't need much description of what you see on the slide. But what I want to tell you is, it took me 40 years of working in this field to be somewhere here. But you will not have that same luxury of time anymore, because the rate of change, the acceleration of change is so fast. Right? That's one fundamental difference that I could immediately reflect on when I saw this slide. My journey really started somewhere here. The graphic not able to accommodate. That was way back in 1983 when I started working. So those days, this function was not called HR. It was called personnel. Okay, it was called personnel, and the way it used to get managed was through maybe three items. One was paper. Next was something called a calculator those days. And when Casio introduced some scientific calculator, we also calculate some scientific information. And the third important one that drove this function was memory, human memory. I even today remember an accountant who used to process salaries for about 2,000 employees in the factory. Amazing human memory. He knew every employee's basic salary, their employee number, they call as token number. That was the way it was in those days. And then came in 1, 2, 3, Lotus 1, 2, 3, Microsoft Excel, correct? So we thought, oh, life is very good. And then came HRMS in form. Somewhere down the line, finance, tax, production, and all of them started looking at data, and then the whole thing drove towards how do we automate some of these things and get the data together. And that's the way it went. But in the process, what also happened in HR, perhaps even in other functions, much more in other functions, is about verticalization of the functions. So HR is a very vast field, as you all know, correct? You have a general HR, you've got CNP, you've got learning and development, and in companies like ours, maybe in large companies which are all over the world, you have something called mobility, global mobility, which deals with immigration, taxes, and all that. So it got verticalized. So much so the systems slowly became disparate systems. Once again, it came in this HCM Cloud, correct, which integrated all of this, including how do we digitize the employee life cycle, correct? So that was one of the fundamental drivers there. The journey doesn't stop, it continues. Now it is GenAI, correct? It continues. So GenAI is there in place. But at the end of the day, what I just want to also tell you is what is driving all this for HR? There are many factors that are driving this. One, my client groups, the LOBs, they're always behind how do I reduce cost, how do I reduce wastage, how do I improve efficiency, how do I get the product more faster, correct? So they're talking about those things. So those things for HR translates to, can I predict what sort of talent I would need given the business plans that are coming up? Correct? Can I predict what sort of talents are needed? Can I look at our talent pool to figure out what sort of skills we have, and then how do we get some of these skills to reskill? How do I start working on telling my employees, our employees, your employees, what to unlearn, what to focus on, and what to relearn something new, correct? So those things, that way it goes on. And importantly, our friends in finance, accounts, tax, they are looking at data from HR to drive some of their systems, correct? And then they are also looking at how can we predict the cost, correct? So that is very natural. So those things are going on, and the employees are a key stakeholder, correct? The whole thing is around the employees as well, the talent. Some of the paradoxes that I see in the talent market, for example, I ask my friends in recruiting, hey, why are we not able to fill up these positions? Oh, there is lack of skills in the market. But when you look outside, there are millions and thousands of candidates. Correct? You look at the paradox, abundance of candidates, but there's no skill. So that is one of the paradoxes. So some of these things actually come into play into our transformation journey, and how AI, how the analytics, the predictive mechanisms can be harnessed to address some of these things. So that's the whole thing about transformation. So how do we look at all these things, and how do we enhance the value for business. So HR is no more back-end driver at all. I think many years ago it got demolished. They're saying it is a seat in the table along with the business. So what am I doing with the business? Yes, correct. So that's where it is. And the best part of it is a lot of these things are today automated. Correct. We have simplified our processes. We have standardized a lot of stuff. One of the anecdotal information that I have is, for example, in Oracle, we operate from, I think, more than 80 countries. They have operations. They contribute to the revenue bottom line. You can imagine how the books of accounts look for each country, correct? They're extremely complicated accounting systems. But we are able to declare global results to the, in stock exchanges, we're able to declare within 10 days of close of every quarter, consolidating all the business that has happened across countries. And all those things come from simplifying, standardizing, automating. And that same thing applies for HR. So it's one single source of truth for a global organization. So be it India, be it Pakistan, be it Australia, wherever, Canada, everything is actually subscribed to one common application. So in the process, how do we simplify, how do we standardize, how do we automate, and make the processes more efficient, more predictive, reduce cost, and be at full speed. Correct. So that's what is there. So I just want to take 5 minutes just to introduce this small concept with my own personal experience. As I said, my journey started much below the x-axis. So, but my colleague NJ Niranjan, he's going to talk to you through a couple of some of the slides as to what is really there in this whole journey, into not just the journey, but into the state of art that's going on. And I think at the end of it, you'll also have some demonstration of how it is, how the Oracle HCM really enables the business to go forward.
Thank you, Shri. First of all, thank you very much for being here, and it's a pleasure for me also to be talking to you as HR colleagues and peers in the industry. The one key difference between what Shri's world is and what our world is in Shri's world, the accountant and the HR people knew the employees. But in our world, the employees know HR, right? Because they have any concerns, any issues, they first come to HR, right? So that's a key difference, Shri. So that's where we are. I think we can skip this. I think Shri already covered that. I think we sent the new version. We didn't get this. Okay, no problem. We can skip all of this because it's covered. All right. So if you really look at it, whatever Shri spoke earlier, the transformation happens in 4 large sections, right? One is on the digitization part of it, the digitization of systems and processes. So you use technology to kind of run all your processes, which otherwise can also be done by humans, but it's a waste of time. You're not using the actual capability of humans to do work. So you digitize the thing, and that's the first level of transformation. And then you look at processes, right? Then you bring in process efficiency. For example, if it takes 10 days to do a particular thing, can I do it in 2 days? Or if it takes 20 steps to do a particular do, can I do it in 5 steps? You bring in process efficiency. That also results in structural efficiency, right? Structural transformation. Therefore, if I'm going to kind of relate to a lot of what he also said. So if you look at structural transformation, earlier HR had all kinds of functions, including travel, transportation, canteen, all kinds of services was clubbed under HR. But then they realized efficiency comes by also breaking the structures down and bringing in efficiency there. And the 4th part, the most important part, is cultural transformation. Because when you do all of this, it changes the culture of the organization and of the people. So therefore, when you look at transformation, always think about these 4 pillars. One is digitization, process, structure, and culture. If these 4 things work together, you can be rest assured that your organization is a leader in that particular sector. So in Oracle, the way we've done HR, or the way we've kind of evolved through the transformation from where we are from systems to where we are today in HCM, it provides us, to understand our talent and skills, capabilities, aspirations through business strategy, right? It is all right. For example, if we as a business, Oracle as a business wants to be the leader in IT or an innovation company, All of that kind of comes from our fusion talent strategies. It kind of aligns very, very strongly to that. And what we've done is we've incorporated data throughout the entire life cycle, right? Employee life cycle, and we've automated it end to end. Therefore, if you really look at it, HR as a function does more of value addition rather than managing transactions and processes, right? We're truly using capability to consult with the business, help them to grow and change. And the other very, very key important part is blending all other data points, right? And that's why your ERP comes into play. You bring in finance, you bring in sales, you integrate all of that, and then we have, I think, session on analytics as well. You're using all of the data to bring in insights to the business leaders so that they can take decisions that can change the course of their business. Now, there are hundreds and thousands of cases of how we've used this within Oracle and for various other customers in our organization. Like, for example, in Oracle itself, if I were to take the example of, let's say, sales, we look at data. We integrate all the talent data that we have about a sales rep. What is the finance data that they have? What is the sales data that they bring in? And based on that, we get fantastic insights of who's doing well, in which markets are they succeeding, and what kind of revenues are they able to generate. Now, what this does is just gives you data. If I were to indulge you, what would you do with this data? Any responses? I'm just trying to keep it a little engaging rather than me just. What would you do with this data?
It helps us to focus on the market, which market is performing better.
Okay.
Where are we lagging?
Where are we lagging?
Yeah.
So it helps you target your attention on certain things. Okay. What else?
Make decisions basically.
Make decisions, alter your strategies, where you want to spend money on investment, on where you want to de-invest, all of that stuff. Next. What else? One more.
Give incentives.
Give it, yeah, exactly. Compensate for the right talent and where you're the performing reps, right? So imagine all of these very, very value-added decision making comes because your data is captured and integrated, and you have those insights to deliver this. Consulting, again, today if you see everybody's talking about skill-based organizations, right? You're going after skills. She also mentioned about how skills become important when you're recruiting and also for developing. So today when you're talking about a skill-based organization, this kind of data will help you to identify which are the consultants which have what kind of skills, quickly able to sell them to your clients, quickly able to have them contribute to those projects and complete the entire cycle very, very seamlessly and very effectively. So there are multiple such examples of how we can use data to align what your business strategy is and what your talent strategy is. Another example I can give you is, for example, even in Oracle itself. If, for example, an organization wants to, let's say, reorganize to, better serve the customer in whatever area you are, right? The first thing they look at is our talent data. The minute you lay out the talent data in front of you, you can see who are your top performers, which are the people with what skills they have, what is their compensation positioning, what is their location, what is their tenure. All of that is just laid out at a map in front of you. Then you can decide, okay, this is what I want to do, this is the way I want to structure my organization, and that's how I can completely design my talent strategy to suit my business strategy. Yeah? Yeah, so some of the outcomes that we have achieved is that we've achieved accelerated time to hire through simplified application process. The AI that helps match talent to right candidates. We'll cover some of it in the next part, and I think some of my colleagues will also have a demo of it. Another key achievement is we've almost eliminated 75% of steps in the hiring process. Imagine what would otherwise take 100 steps, you're doing it in 25 steps. Right? That's the kind of improvement that we've done. Saving almost 20,000 hours per day. Time is money. All of us agree, right? So it's very important to do that as well. And look at this. We've been able to onboard more than 20,000 plus new hires to Oracle each year, all within 24 hours of their start date. Again, speed, efficiency, help them to get productive as quickly as possible. Yeah. I think some of it we've already covered, right? We are able to perform well and get more productive workforce because we are helping our leaders to get talent-related insights and then drive strategies. Like as I said, if we want to set up a new organization, our talent data is where we go into to rely on where do we want to focus our energies on. Goal management is a very, very important component in HCM. I think all of us agree, right? Performance management. What does performance management help us to do? As HR professionals, what do we do? Why is it important?
Succession planning.
Helps you in succession planning, okay? That's probably one of the, at the tail part of the entire performance management.
Evaluate an individual's performance.
Sorry?
Evaluate an
Individual performance, okay, it sits on succession, okay, what else?
Drive performance of the organization.
I think that's the key, right? Because your performance management starts with the goal of the or mission of the organization. And that then converts into objectives, into tasks, and into goals. So it helps you. So in finance, you can do enterprise management by looking at all the financials data and see how you're doing well. But if you really want to measure performance and meeting of business goals, this is the place to go. Many a times we found that the way we use performance management is more on appraisal. We measure, we drive completion status, and we stop at that. But the potential to actually use performance data is so much more powerful if we start looking into the next level of how we can evaluate who does what and how that action actually connects to the overall business goal.
I think, when you do this review, the important part is also on the floors. You take a walk on the floor, you'll find people are so busy working. You spend some time with the person saying, what are we doing? I've been asked to do this. And they're so devoted, passionate, committed, no errors, extremely driven. But why are you doing this? No, it's just a call. So what is missing is the big picture. Correct? The moment you base it with the big picture, there's more meaning and insight for the employee, the software person, for the manufacturing, or whatever, for why they are doing it, how their own contribution is adding to the. So that's one of the things that happens in goals. So how do you cascade goals? How do you share goals? And how you can see in the organization how the goals are aligned in the big picture. That's one of the important aspects that you can also find it.
All right, thank you, Kevin.
This is the look of the our HCM lifecycle. There's nothing new that all of you would know if you look at the employee lifecycle. But I would just like to leave with you two very important insights. One is the way the employee lifecycle is designed, it's natural, right? You onboard and then you offboard and everything that happens in between. But the unique thing in Oracle and the way our product is designed is it inculcates all of your contemporary knowledge about the HR domain. Right? It's not just some static employee life cycle and static way of looking at it. It incorporates, as I said, very, very contemporary concepts. Like for example, I just take again performance and goal management. Right? If you look at performance and goal management, I think all of you would agree in the last, say, decade or so, there's been a shift in the way performance and goal management was done. And can somebody tell me what the difference is? What do you think was the major shift that happened in the last decade or so? Maybe lesser than a decade. The way performance management was looked at in the past as it's evolving right now, it's being looked at today. Tough question.
From paper to digital.
Paper to digital, okay, that's the digitization part of it. Okay.
360 degrees.
360 is one very important. You are looking at a more rounded feedback of what people are performing.
It's continuous. No more a one year event.
Exactly. It's no more a one-time event. It's a continuous event, ongoing event. So those are capabilities that are built into our performance management system. Right? And that's a very significant thing so similarly, what I'm trying to impress upon all of you is if you look at each dimension of our work, of the life cycle, we incorporate some of the latest thinking, the thought leadership in the subject matter, and that's how our products function. Can I move on? Yeah. I'm also going a little fast because I'm conscious of time. What I'll be doing in the next couple of slides is to give you a very quick peek into some of, but just probably two dimensions of the entire life cycle of how we have used GenAI to kind of run some of our AI features in some of our processes. So let's start with recruiting. If you look at it, these are the 6 areas in which we've used AI capabilities. Can you next slide, please? I'll talk about it a little more in detail here. So the first thing is on time to hire. So what happens is it gives you the estimate of what time does it take for you to hire a person? Now that's a very important input, especially if you're trying to, do a product delivery or whatever that you're trying to do. So it helps you plan your work according to the time that it takes for getting a job requisition. Next is it also gives you recommendation of what the suggested candidates are. Who are the people that you can actually be looking for, which fits the similar kind of a thing. Also, there are similar candidates which can be used for you to say, okay, if candidate here has these capabilities and skills, there is another candidate also with similar capabilities and skills which you may want to then compare and use. It also makes recommendations to similar jobs, right? If you're looking at, let's say, for example, a project manager, and that particular role has a set of competencies and skills, whatever that is, it also then recommends what are the similar jobs or similar recommendations that you can explore. And it also gives you skill recommendations. For example, if I say I'm looking for a HR business partner role, what are the skills that I need for this job? And therefore automatically starts populating, and then you can then pick and choose what you want to do. So that's one capability that's there, which is being actively used in our organization today. And this is our Oracle talent framework. I think pretty much common knowledge that all of us will know. It starts with our performance goal management, and then it gets into the talent profile. Now this is something like what we call as a internal resume as such, right? So employees are given the ability to kind of map their skills, write out their resume, what are some of the projects that they worked in, and this can be shared across the organization, which then they can use for their own internal career mobility. Career management is another key component of our talent strategy. We again empower people to build their career profiles. It basically consists of a career aspiration, what they aspire to do in their thing, what are their current skill sets, what are the future skill sets that they need, and then they fill it up with an individual development plan, right? And that development plan can be linked to your learning resources, which means, for example, if I want to, let's say, grow into a pre-sales consultant or so, whatever you want to call it, I can then put that as my development plan and then find out what are the learning and development initiatives that I need to do, and that is delivered to you on demand for you as per your requirement. And then, of course, talent review. This is done at an organizational level. Basically, what happens is each talent, based on their profile and their ratings and their potential that they have, you are then mapped on a 9-grid box. Top talent, bottom talent. I'm just making it simple so that we just get the picture. And that exercise is kind of cascaded from down right up to the highest level in the organization. So what happens is at an enterprise level, you actually can see what's the kind of a talent distributions that you have in the organization. Who are your top talents? Who are your growing talent? Who are the talents that are mismatched and we need to manage them? All of that comes into play. And that data then flows into your succession management, like as it's the last part of the tape, where that all your insights that you have can be used for succession management. It can be used for any employment decision that you want to take, be it transfers, be it promotions, be it reorganization, whatever employment decision that you take, you can use it from all of these sources of data. Yeah. Performance and goal management, again, I think I spoke enough about it. So basically, as Shriyari also mentioned, there are many capabilities within that. One is it's ongoing, like you said, the entire capability. So people can actually have regular conversations with their managers and have that recorded on their appraisal tool. So it's not lost at the end of the year. And it also has the feature to collect peer feedback, and it can share it with people and collect all the feedback and consolidate it and keep it with them. Goals can be shared with other people. For example, if I'm working on a project and I need to share it with one of my other colleagues, I can share it and both of us can track and monitor that performance, the goal on that particular aspect. And the other important thing is I can align it to my top level goal or any other goal that's within the organization so that I can see the big picture. So some of the capabilities are built here. I think we do have a demo on the AI capabilities that are also built in our, which is available for HCM in the goal management part of it. Yeah.